started doing anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Apparently, this is being sponsored by Jack Poker. Um, Very cool. Ignis will be picking first. Let's go to Hunt. Um,
Yeah.
Ignis picks first. Wait, unless you want a warm up.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm recording. All good. And then I'm also hosting. Yep. Okay. Chug some water real quick so my throat doesn't get dry. Yeah, okay, so I guess we're gonna run a warm-up game. I'm assuming it's gonna be on Sprawl because that's where they've all been. Okay, I'm just gonna take that as affirmative from both of them that this is in fact going to be a warm-up match. And then after that, it will be Ignis picking first. Yeah, it's also going to be interesting to see, to Ignis's point, but it'll be interesting to see how much ping dictates this. Let me fix the server settings real quick. Uh, there you go. And we are underway. We actually have a double blue spawn to start, so that's fun. Jacob's going to opt for the blue up top, and Ignis is going to be coming from the other side, and he's going to go just for that blue. Jacob already up 7. That was a huge spawn to start out on a map like this where blues aren't as common. Ignis lagging behind a bit. Jacob off to this next spawn already, and it double spawns on his dome as well, so Jacob's already up nearly 20 in the first 30 seconds. He's going to get that blue as well, and he's extended the lead to 24. Um, quite an impressive start. Unlucky for him that this is just the warm up. Um, and I don't know Ignis's level on this specific map in general, um, but this is definitely way higher play level from Jacob than I was expecting. Um, all due respect to him, of course, but I don't know. Maybe I expected more out of Ignis here. And it's another blue. Ignis gonna drop down for that. But Jacob is up double. Ignis, and he's gonna snipe that blue. Nice little skill shot there. Ignis is gonna sweep up most of the rest of that spawn and then blast Jacob, um, who is now in a gyro as he heads to the next spawn. And he's going to beat Ignis there by a wide margin, um, as Ignis is forced to pick up the last gem there. Um, Again, Ignis does not look very good. I don't know if it's a ping issue or what, but I guess we'll see when we head back to Nuremberg what goes on there. But um, again, lucky for Ignis that this is just a warm up. Um, and if I've learned anything, it's that the warm up match doesn't really mean much. So um, take it with a grain of salt. Some people are better at Sprawl than others. Um, Lead hovering around between 30 and 40 at this point. Like I said, Jacob looking very, very good um, thus far. I mean, we still have, 2 minutes and it's about 2:30 and change to go. Ignis overshoots that just a tiny bit. He's gonna pop the mega, but he's gonna kind of mess up and go flying over instead. And he's gonna fall short there. He looks a little bit out of sorts here. I'm not sure. Maybe he got on. He's been on for a little while. I don't know. Sometimes if you get on too early, it can really kind of screw with you because you get just tired really fast. Jacob got on a little bit later. It's a 54-point lead. Now 60-ish. Um, as we head into the final 2 minutes. Call it the 2-minute warning here. It's another blue, and Jacob kind of screws that up, and then Ignas goes flying. And I think Jacob's... Oh, no, never mind. I was going to say, I think Jacob was going to take that blue, but he kind of... That Mega kind of screwed him up. Ignas already at the next spawn. I think right now you're playing for pride, even though this is, just the warm-up doesn't really mean much. You're still playing for pride because you don't want to lose by 60, 70 points on a warm-up match. That never bodes well for your series. Jacob's going to pick up that last one, and it's going to spawn right next to him again. Seems to be a little bit of a common theme here. Lead down to 46, but he's going to build it right back up by taking over most of this spawn. I don't know if he was trying to get Ignas there, but he didn't either way. Ignas cutting this lead back down again. And Jacob's going to hop straight down into the pit with the yellows. And then I'm assuming they're going to let that last one expire. Nope, never mind. About 30 seconds left, and the lead still massive for Jacob as we head down to the wire here. Not really a great match. Jacob was in control straight from the start. It is also unfortunate that they are both using marbles that I'm having a hard time differentiating, but I'll do my best. Ignas cutting into the lead a tiny little bit just to end it, and then one more blue, but I don't think either of them are going to be able to get there in time. And that is game over. 177-135 in the warm-up. Very, very interesting. I'm not sure what the bet... If somebody could pull up the betting splits for this match, that'd be great, because I don't have them on hand. But this is Ignas's pick. And he's giving props to Jacob for that win, because that was very, very well played. On a map, okay, and Ignas breaking out the parkour peaks. This, of course, is one of his specialties. I think he does have the world record. I wasn't sure if Shadow Visions had passed him. They're both sitting around 200. Shadow Visions did mention that he would like to break 200 at some point, which is, very, very, would be very impressive if he did pull that off. So all the best of luck to him. And we are officially underway in Ignas versus Jacob, the last match of the play-in round. Both players taking about the same route here. Ignas going to default back across, going to jump up top, use a wall hit to get up over to it. They're going to let that yellow over there expire, but both of them chose to go for better positioning as opposed to going for the gem. Jacob's going to pick that one up, and he's going to get rewarded for it just a tiny little bit because the spawn stays on his side. If it had gone to the other side, Ignas definitely would have been in a better position. Ignas ties it back up again after Jacob took the lead, and it's going to spawn right behind Ignas and right next to Jacob. These spawns have been very, very favorable for both players, honestly. They've basically been spawning right on top of each other. Ignas taking a tiny lead here, still nothing massive, but definitely still a lead that you need to watch out for if you're Jacob, because you really cannot let Ignas get out in front, because this is a map he's so familiar with that, letting him get in front is a recipe for disaster, because he won't let that go. But Jacob looks very comfortable on this map. I don't know, again, if it's a ping issue for Ignas. I don't know if he's having some lag issues here. But Jacob has looked very good. Stealing that yellow, he's going to go out of bounds. He's not going to be able to grab that yellow. I don't think he had the blast for it. Ignas, nice little edge hit, super speed combo there to get up over the obstacle. And another yellow snipe there from Jacob. The lead is hovering at 10. And like I said, Jacob has looked very comfortable on this map. This was a map I definitely thought heavily favored Ignis, mostly because of his familiarity with it. But this lead is shrinking, and it is now Ignis in the lead after Jacob had been up around 10 for quite a while. Ignis unable to climb that hill to get up to the next gem, and Ignis nowhere to be found here. But Jacob's probably gonna be unable to take advantage of that, specifically because of the fact that he just wasn't in the right position for it. The easy spawn there, the two little yellows on that little flat area in the hill spawn, so Jacob is able to pick up an easy 2 points. And the game is tied once again. We have about a minute 30 left to play. Ignis up 2. Of course, on this level, that is literally only 1 gem. Lead swings back for Jacob, but Ignis doing very well there to get 2 gems, tie the game up as Jacob picks up the other. And once again, in the lead is Ignis with a minute and change to play. The lead is now 4, but it is now 0 because Jacob ties it right back up. And a little bit of a blunder there from Jacob. I think he was trying to get up to the next area, but that wall hit just didn't come off for him. This is gonna go down to the wire though. This is literally only a 1 spawn gap right now, and Ignis a little bit stuck, able to get back up to that 1 gem to open the lead back up to 4. 30 seconds left to play here, and the lead is 2. I don't know if it's a little bit of time wasting here by Ignis, but he definitely opted to go a little bit slower. Lead swings here, and Ignis going to grab that yellow. I definitely thought Jacob had a fair chance at that. Oh no, Ignis stumbles a bit. It's a 4-point lead. Jacob could time waste, and Ignis able to get that yellow. I think there's a good chance at a tie here. No, never mind. Jacob very well played there. Stayed cool, stayed calm. It's a 4-point win for Jacob on Ignis's probably his best map. So very well played by Jacob there on Parkour Peaks. We're going to head over back to Nuremberg, and we're going to continue the match from there with Jacob's pick. Let me put the screenshot in Tourney Hype and join up. You can see what level I was grinding earlier. So yeah, that was very well played by Jacob there. Stayed very cool at the end. I wasn't sure if the nerves were going to get to him. As it came down to the wire, Jacob's going to opt to play Megas. I'm not host, so I can't do anything about that. There we go. And Megas is here. Okay. So, interesting pick. Kind of shows the difference between these two players, in my opinion, because Parkour Peaks, no blasts, is extremely technical based, and Megas is extremely open, speed based, blast heavy, kind of a melee map compared to a finesse map that is Parkour Peaks. So we will see how that plays out. It's interesting. The pick is interesting in my opinion because of the fact that Jacob is playing with ping disadvantage, and blasts are a very ping dependent mechanic in the game. Jacob's going to jump out early to a tiny lead, but the spawn is going to be right next to both players. They both go for that both go for that red. They both go for that one too. But it's going to be Jacob picking it up. Lead is staying at 3. Nice little parkour attempt there by Ignis, but Jacob able to swoop that yellow out from underneath. Another blast attempt there by Ignis, but Jacob able to kind of circumnavigate that. It is a 7-point lead, and we have our first blue of the match here. We'll see if Ignis had the air for it. He does not have the air for it. Blue pickup there by Jacob. So the lead is 14 points. It's hovering around 15 after the first minute of play here. Blasts have been very impactful so far by Jacob. I think he's using his blast a little more effectively than Ignis. Um, Although we'll see, very well done there. Oh, but he screwed the landing. So it's going to be all Ignis this spawn, assuming he's quick enough. Jacob arrives, and then the blast doesn't really do much. I definitely thought that was going to send him further. We have another blue, and they're going to... Oh no! Terrible respawn for Jacob there, and Ignis is going to take the lead here. I definitely thought Jacob had gotten a little bit closer than he had. At least, at the very least, close enough to get the respawn, but not so. Definitely interesting now that we're back tied again. I wasn't sure if this was a map that maybe Jacob was more familiar with, was more comfortable with. But like I said, definitely a ping dependent map, so we'll see how much that's going to hurt in the end. Ignis holding on to a 2-point lead here, just under 3 to play. Spawn back across the map, and very well done by Ignis to blast up to it, and Jacob couldn't land the wall hit. Ignis going to opt to stay underneath here, most likely because Jacob had that blast, and trying to contest that blast was never going to work. We'll see how Jacob opts to handle this. Very well done, using that carpet to kind of kill his momentum, but then a good blast by Ignis to prevent Jacob from taking the lead fully here. But the lead is now 0 with both players tied, 59-59. Nice blast attempt there by Ignis, but it didn't come off. Jacob able to take over the majority of that spawn, and Jacob's gonna super jump up to that gyro and then use it to get across to the next spawn. 7-point lead for Jacob, as Ignis is doing his best to avoid going into an 0-2 hole here. And Jacob once again... Oh no. Okay, so the respawn is going to be big help for it's going to be a big help there for Ignis, because he fell short on that blue there. And if Jacob had gotten a better respawn out of it, then it certainly would have been in a nasty blast there by Ignis to send Jacob down and away. I'm not 100% sure what Jacob's expecting there, and then Ignis is going to get a little bit lucky. I don't know if Jacob was just preempting that spawn or what. And then picking up that last gem underneath is certainly risky, because you may not be able to get back out in time, especially if the other person has a blast. It is tempting, of course, because those are yellows and they're worth more. And then, oh wow, that's really lucky for Jacob, but he's unable to take advantage. And I think Ignis actually got both blues to himself. I'm not 100% sure. And the lead is suddenly 15, and both players getting stuck now. Jacob's stumbling a bit, and the lead is suddenly 20 points. I definitely thought Jacob had the upper hand there, because he had preempted going there, and another disgusting blast there by Ignis to send Jacob back down out of bounds. So this has turned into a huge lead for Ignis as we head down into the final few seconds here. Not what I was expecting at all, based on the opening of the game, and then especially after they had especially after Jacob had already gone up to that area where the double blues had spawned. So it's a 23-point win for Ignis here. Big win. We're going to head back to Hillsboro. That was extremely tragic for Jacob there at the end, where he camped the double blues and then it just didn't come off. He just couldn't get there, and Ignis managed to get both. At the very least, he got one to himself. I know that much. I don't know if he got both to himself, but if he did, then that was most certainly the nail in the coffin for that game. We're heading to Spires next. That's Ignis's pick. The series tied 1-1. And so we're definitely going to see how much Jacob's been practicing. I think he's had Spires picked against him before. I may be misremembering that. I think somebody picked Spires against him before. I think he won that match, but I think it was early on in the season. So I may just be misremembering. But like I said, I think he did win that match. But this is definitely a map that I think would favor Ignis. Specifically because I think Ignis is once again is much more, I think, technically proficient. Would probably be the best way for me to put that. Not that Jacob's bad, obviously. I think just this fits Ignis's skill set a lot better than it fits Jacob's. Lead is very slim here. It's 8-7 after the first 30, and Jacob able to get up to those 2 yellows and take the lead. And then it's going to be an all red spawn. We'll see if Jacob's able to grab those 2. He can. He's going to jump up for this next one here as well and grab the last one. And then that gyro is going to help him be in like pretty much the ideal spot to grab some of the next spawn as well. But Ignis ties it back up again, and we have another spawn on the kind of the roof area of the corner spawn. Jacob using that gyro to get up to it with ease. Ignis going to sack the last red here, and Jacob immediately hops into a gyrocopter and flies off to the next spawn. Ignis lagging behind a little bit here, but Jacob's going to miss that. We have a pretty big value spawn right here, 7 points, and Ignis is going to be able to take most of it. Jacob able to take some of it. And the next spawn's going to be right by Ignis, but here comes Jacob with the gyrocopter. Ignis going to tie the game back up here. He was briefly down by 6 or 7. Jacob takes the lead back, but Ignis going to super jump up to it and take the lead. Just under 2 minutes gone now, so just over 4 minutes remaining. This is, of course, being the only map that is over 5 minutes long in the entire game, or at least in the entire map pool that's allowed to be played. I can't speak for the Marble Land levels, of course. Ignis taking a 2-point lead here, going to super speed up to the last 2 gems, going to let the clock run on that last one, and go over, grab that super jump. Jacob able to land that pretty convincingly. I wasn't sure about his spin at first. I thought he was going to get kicked right back off again, but didn't end up happening. Ignis going to use the super speed up to the last few gems here, and then he's going to grab that last one as well. He's really been okay with grabbing grabbing the last gem. That's kind of a split opinion right now in the community, is picking up that last gem. Some people really see the merit in it, and others just say it's better to play for position, play for power-ups. Ignis definitely playing for the points here, and then very well played there by Ignis, but he's unable to maintain his footing. Fortunately for him, able to get right back up and grab the rest of that spawn. And then he's going to grab that yellow. I think they might have split it. But he's quick enough to the other part of the spawn that he's going to grab the rest of the big value here. And then Jacob's going to opt to go underneath. They're both going to grab that. They're both going to grab that red. And then, a little bit of luck there for Jacob as the next spawn is directly in front of him. And then Ignis going to miss that one. Miss that yellow. And he's going to fall short of that one. So a little bit of misfortune there, and then Jacob's going to retake the lead with that one, and then we have a blue. We have our first blue. They're not super duper common, and then Jacob's going to grab that one as he takes a 7-point lead here, just under 2 to play. And on a map like this, 7 points is quite a bit. Ignis able to land that, and the lead's cut back down to 4. We'll see how Jacob plays this, and he does very well, and Ignis misses that yellow, and the lead has opened up to 9 now with 1:30 to play. Ignis okay with letting the clock run here. It's still a decently long amount of time. You still have time to play for position as opposed to playing for the points. Although you do have to wonder how much some of those misses in the middle there are going to haunt him. as we head down to the wire. A little bit of a miscue there by Jacob. Ignis going to beat him to this spawn pretty handily. And we have our next spawn is going to be right behind Jacob, but Ignis very quick, able to kind of able to recover a bit, and Ignis is going to take the lead. We do have 45 seconds to go. This next spawn is much closer to Ignis than Jacob, and he's able to grab most of the value of that spawn to himself. It's a 6-point lead. We're heading down into the final 30 seconds. It's a big spawn across the map. We'll see who gets there first. Jacob lagging a little bit behind. Ignis goes a little bit too high, though, and Jacob falls. Jacob falls. So it's now suddenly opened up to a 16-point lead for Ignis as he grabs that very, very valuable spawn. And then Jacob's going to get really lucky and preempt the next spawn, and he's going to get it, but it's not going to be enough. Ignis able to recover and get the rest of the value of that spawn. Ignis is going to go grab those reds, and that's going to do it. It's going to be a 16-point win for Ignis on Spires. We're going to head back to Nuremberg now. We're going to Cragmire next, and I will resist the urge to make Quagmire jokes. I'll do my best to resist making Quagmire jokes. Definitely think this map favors Jacob, who's much more blast heavy, much more melee heavy than Ignis is. We will see how this plays out, but like I said, I think the problem is on a map where you have ping disadvantage, playing blast heavy maps is not always the right move. Ignis jumping out to an early lead, and he's going to get lucky with the next spawn, and he's already up 13. You know, not looking great for Jacob, but this is a map that spawns a lot of blues, so he just needs a little bit of luck to turn this around. Ignis already sprinting off to the next spawn. Jacob lagging behind, and then he's going to fall off, I think, trying to avoid that. Oh, great blast there. But we'll see if he's quick enough. He is quick enough. That gyro didn't expire fast enough for Jacob. Huge lead to open up this first minute. Already up 23 before we've even played a minute. Jacob going to go underneath. Another nice blast by Ignis, and he's going to super jump up to the next spot. Jacob actually opts to go underneath. I don't see many people opting to do that, but it kind of pays off for him. And then a double spawn. Ignis takes a little bit of a tumble there. Leads dropping slowly but surely. So definitely not out of this yet is Jacob. And especially if it's going to spawn right on top of him. We have another blue spawn up top and a great blast there by Ignis, but he chooses not to capitalize. He chooses to instead... Ooh, but it doesn't matter. I was going to say he chooses not to go up top even after that great blast, but he still ended up getting it. And then another good landing by Ignis here. He looks comfortable. And then the blue's going to spawn on the side that Ignis is on. A great little bit of a skill shot there, even though it was a short range one. And as we head into the final two, it's all Ignis here on Cragmire. Looks like he might be opening up a 3-1 lead in the series. And after that Sprawl match, it's not really what I was expecting, especially after he'd managed to beat Ignis on pretty much his own map. I mean, that is Parkour Peaks is probably Ignis's best map. Ignis gonna launch Jacob into the stratosphere there. Definitely would have been funny if that ended up helping Jacob more than hurt him, but it kind of they end up splitting that spawn instead. Lead is 17. He's gonna blast Ignis into the spawn. A little bit unfortunate there. And then another blue, and Jacob going to get down to it. So the lead has dropped now to 15. And we have another blue. We'll see who gets to this one first. It's going to be Jacob. The lead is now single digits in the final minute. And it has been fluctuating, and it double spawns the blue. We'll see who gets to this one first. It's going to be Ignas. So the lead jumps back up to 15. Little bit unfortunate there if you're Jacob, because it did spawn right next to you. But of course, I don't think he had the power-ups ready for it. And there's going to be a spawn that favors Jacob there. And then we have another blue, and it's going to go to Jacob. The lead is now just 4 with 40 seconds to play. Oh my god, what an ending to this game. Especially after the beginning went so heavily in favor of Ignas. And there's going to be a middle spawn here. Great mega marble there. We have a lead swing now. Super late in the game. Ignas off to the next spawn already. Uses his super speed there. Not sure if that was the right play or not. It's a tie game. It's just a 1-point lead now for Ignas. He's going to be a little bit late to this next spawn. Jacob able to take the lead again. Just 10 seconds left. The next spawn, nothing major here. So it's not going to, there's not going to be a huge swing. It's going to go, I think, to Jacob. Yeah, it's, oh, what a comeback win for Jacob there. Wow, what an ending. What an ending. It's going to go back to 2-2 as we head back to Hillsborough. What an ending. What an ending. Certainly not what I was expecting after Ignas jumped out to such a huge lead, and it is 2-2. With they've split their picks now. They're both 1-1 on their picks. Again, definitely not what I was expecting. At the beginning of that match was so heavily in favor of Ignas. Jacob able to claw his way back into it. Very well done by him. We will see what Ignas wants to pick next. It wouldn't shock me to see him go with this map here. This is a map I believe he is very good at as well. I don't know if it's uncouth to name maps. He chooses to go with Core. That is definitely one of the most schizo picks I've seen so far in the tournament. He picks Core. Okay. That is a little bit of a shocker. I don't know if this was something that anyone else expected. I don't know if people have played more with Ignas than I have. If anyone could jump in and tell me if this is a pick. Oh, we have a blue to start. And it's going to go to Jacob here. Unfortunately, this is going to suck to watch because it is very hard to really kind of make sense of this because the gravity switches. I don't know if this is a map he picks super duper often, but so far he's looking pretty good. Jacob's only gem to that point had been the blue. Yeah. And we head back up to the ceiling. Ignas quickly building a lead here. And the next spawn's going to be in the middle. I'm going to have to free cam this a bit because otherwise it's just going to be really nauseating to watch for everybody. And we have another blue, and Ignas snipes it. Very well done there by Ignas. I thought Jacob was going to have the jump on that for sure. And Jacob going to use his blast to get up to that last gem there. And it is a 13-point lead. Ignas able to come back across. I thought he was still going to be stuck down there for a second. And then the next spawn is going to be another spawn in the middle area. Ignas able to kind of use his blast and then use his super speed to get over to the gravity modifier. And the next spawn is going to be up on the ceiling. Kind of do this. Like I said, this map is not great for spectator mode. but such is life. Another spawn here in the middle on the side. Single yellow. Nice super jump there by Ignis, and he's going to be able to change gravities, I think. And then he's going to be able to get into the middle here. I don't know if he's going to choose to go for that red. He chooses not to. I think that's probably the wise move here, as he's able to get some of the next spawn as well. Jacob able to cut into the lead a tiny bit. We head down to the floor here. We'll see who gets there first. It's going to be... Oh, never mind. I was going to say it's going to be Jacob, but Ignis kind of sniped that out of nowhere. And the lead grows back to 16. Jacob jumping down to the next spawn does very well to control himself there. And Ignis... I don't know where Ignis just went. Ignis was kind of sitting in the middle. And we kind of have another spawn in the middle here. Lead still double digits for Ignis, but looking a little less solid than it did a minute ago. We have 2 minutes and change to play, as Ignis able to grab most of that next spawn to bring the lead back up. Jacob going to opt against picking that up. We have another blue here, and Ignis going to snipe that one as well. I don't know if you saw him just go flying by, but that's where that blue just went. And the lead's 20. I mean, this is certainly not a map I practice often, because I don't expect anybody to pick it. I don't know if that was Ignis's move here, because I don't know if he just, nobody really plays this map. So maybe he was thinking, hey, I feel confident on it. I don't think Jacob's practiced it at all. I'm gonna pick it, because that is certainly an interesting strategy. It's a strategy we saw a lot in the lower side of the bracket, where players would pick maps that it wasn't necessarily about how they felt about the map. It was a lot more about how they thought their opponent felt about the map. We saw that in the Porter versus GG Jacob match down at the very, very lower end of the bracket, where I think it was Porter who picked Parkour Peaks. And it was specifically because Jacob hadn't practiced that map at all. So he was just unable to really kind of keep up on that map. It's such a difficult map to really get used to, especially if you're a newer player. Ignis on a 22-point lead here, just under a minute to go. Another lower value spawn. Ignis does well to grab that red. He's going to grab this one more red as well. The next spawn's going to be right below Ignis, and he's going to make good use of that to grab most of the value of that spawn. 27 points, kind of a blowout here. Another blue, but we're kind of in garbage time right now. And I think they split that one, so Jacob kind of stuck around in the middle, though. Did a good job of that, of landing that. 24-point lead. Yeah, this match is over. We're going to be heading back to Nuremberg on a 3-2 for Ignis. He looked very comfortable on this map. Not super exciting, and definitely not one that is fun to watch from an outside perspective, but that's just kind of how it goes with a map like that with the gravity switches. Let me print screen, go back to tourney hype, post that. So we will see. We do have a prediction for a certain very fun map here as we head back to Nuremberg for Game 6. Definitely going to be interesting. This is going to be Jacob's season point here. So this match, I'm going to go with the level I played most over the past week, which is for some reason okay. Requisite. Interesting pick. Gonna be a little difficult for me to commentate with the reds and the oranges, but I will do my best. As we head... I'm having a blast. Oh, someone played the Seinfeld theme. He thinks he's the comedy guy. And so this is Game 6. And we are going to see if Jacob is able to keep his season alive for one more as we see if he goes down to randomizer. With the way the series has been going, you know, I could see this going to randomizer. A nice blast there, but they both end up on the elevator, and Ignis going to take that blue anyway. A nice super speed there, and we have another blue, and it's going to be a big swing from Jacob to go grab that blue and have to split it instead of just letting Ignis have it, because that would have been a death knell early on for Jacob rather, if he had ended up conceding that blue to Ignis alone. And we have another blue, same spot as last. And Jacob unable to get up to it, kind of hit the edge there, and Ignis able to sweep it back up. Lead hovering at 10 though. Jacob doing a very good job of getting the rest of the value from most of these spawns to make those blues a moot point. But it has been, you know, still a 10-point lead here. Ignis playing very well to open it up. But that has been the story so far, has been Ignis playing well to open it up, and then Jacob turning it back on at the end. Ignis kind of fumbling around, so is Jacob as they both try for the super jump, and neither of them got it. Next spawn's going to be over in the ice section. I think Jacob got the first yellow to himself, and then the second was split. And then the next spawn's going to be up over on the other side in the neutral area. Jacob does a very good job of getting that balance, and we do have a lead swing now. Jacob taking the lead, and the next spawn going to be lower value, nothing super high. Jacob, nice wall trick there, using the wall hit followed by a super speed to get up to that next level. And then the next spawn's going to favor Ignis very heavily. We'll see if he's able to land the trick. He does, and Jacob unable to. The lead jumps back out to 10 for Ignis. A little bit unfortunate there if you're Jacob, and Ignis time wasting now. And then he's also going to get that. Oh, and then he's going to hit the ice too. So Jacob kind of floundering a bit as we head into the final minute 30. We'll see if he's able to turn this around the way he did on Cragmire. But as it stands right now, this is looking very good if you're Ignis. Final minute or so to play here. Lead is 11 in the favor of Ignis. Jacob playing the high ground here, just hopping around on the ice, seeing where the next spawn is. We have a blue, and Jacob does a very good job of getting to that blue. The lead is now 9. Make that 7. And then we have another spawn up top, but it's not going to have a blue. Which we'll see if that ends up hurting Jacob very much. He's going to use that mega as a super speed. And then a trick shot there from Ignis, although he will probably end up giving up a lot of the spawn because of it. Jacob a little bit stuck there, and then a low value spawn in the middle. Jacob does a very good job there of making sure he doesn't waste too much time by hitting that lava, and we are in the final 10 now with a 5-6 point lead for Ignis. And then this next spawn is going to come down to this, and it's going to be Ignis by 4 points on Requisite. Those blues are what killed Jacob there. You know, I was hoping this would go to randomizer. It didn't quite make it, but a very good match nonetheless. So, very good match there. Thank you all for turning out. That was the final match for the play-ins. So, I will be updating the Wikipedia, and I will be seeing you all soon. I will be taking part in this week's round of 16 preview. So, hope to see you all there, and see you all next time.